Hello everybody and welcome to our YouTube channel. Thanks for stopping by. In today's video, we're going to show you how to replace the motor and the controller on the Golden Technologies Literider scooter. This is one of our top selling travel scooters that comes apart. It's super versatile, whether you need it for outdoor use or going grocery shopping inside. It's a great mobility scooter. I highly recommend it. And again, we're going to show you how to replace the motor. The new motor that just came out is bigger than the old one, and it's all black. The old one's silver. You'll see it in the video. If you are going to replace the old style with the new, you do need to replace the controller. If you want to see many other repair videos for this model, we have them. Check our YouTube channel out. And if you need parts for this product, we sell them tax-free, free shipping. Go to our website, mobilitydirect.com. Click on the parts link at the top of the page. You can shop by brand, and then you can shop by model. So if you see the picture of your brand or the picture of your model on the parts by brand section, it'll take you right to a page that shows you all of the replacement parts, including battery upgrades, replacement dashes, motors, controllers, you name it. Now, before we get any further in this video, I do need to tell you about our free product catalog. It's got our latest products, discount codes, and more. If you want a copy, go to our website, mobilitydirect.com. Click on the green button at the top of every page that says free catalog. Fill out the simple short form that you're seeing on the screen now, and you'll get one in the mail within 1 to 2 weeks tops. You can also call our non-commissioned sales experts, give them your address, and they'll process the request for you, or click on the top right-hand corner of the screen where it says Get Free Catalog. Keep in mind, we have several locations, so if you have a question, come on by one of our stores, or again, call our sales line with the number below. We'd love to earn your business. And if you like this video, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Not only will you get notified when we release new videos, but you're also going to be placed into our giveaway program. That's right, we give away mobility scooters all the time to random people who subscribe to our channel and who leave a comment. Like the last few winners that you're seeing on the screen now, you too could be the next winner of a powered mobility product. All right, folks, so let's go ahead and get started with this repair. The first thing you're going to want to do is remove the seat, remove the battery, and take the scooter apart. So if you own this scooter, you should know how to do that. And to get started, I'm just going to put the rear motor with the rear two wheels on my workbench here, because that's all we really need to remove the motor. So I'm going to start by cutting the zip ties that hold the power connection harness and the harness for the brakes all together. You want to make sure to take pictures and zip tie everything back exactly the way it was. Once you remove the zip ties, you can disconnect the 2-wire connector for the brakes, and then you've got a heavier duty clip that has 4 wires wrapped in some black tubing. You'll need to pull that back and then just disconnect that 4-pin connector as well. From there, what I decided to do was pop off the hubcaps and remove the wheels. You will need a 19mm socket and wrench, and you'll go ahead and just pull those out. I recommend having a little magnet tray to keep all of your things handy. The tires will have a nut and a washer and a woodruff key for the axle. So that's going to lock into the axle and lock into the wheel assembly, or the rim if you want to call it that. There's a little groove for that woodruff key and a groove on the axle, and that key is what allows the wheel to spin when the axle spins. If it didn't have that system there, the wheels would just not move. I did have to use a little rubber mallet, and that's common, especially if there's oxidation and rust buildup on the axle, which you can see here there clearly was. Overall, you want to make sure you do what you can to keep your unit from rusting. That's just best practice. So we're going to remove the 4 nuts and bolts that hold the motor, transaxle, brake assembly all in one to the frame. And if you pay attention here, the actual frame for the anti-tip wheels are the U bolts, if you will, or the U brackets that hold the axle to the frame. So you're going to want to grab a 6mm Allen key or hex key bit. I just recommend an Allen key. And then you'll want to go ahead and get your socket set and work those nuts and bolts out. There are going to be washers as well, so be careful not to lose them. I am going to fast forward through a lot of this so that it's not a boring video. You can pause and go back at any time. So you've got a washer, a nut, and a bolt for all 4 of the nut and bolts that are required to be removed when you want to take the motor out and replace it. So I'm just walking through that process here, and I've got the first anti-tip wheel assembly removed, and now I'm just going to move on to the next one. Now, if you have any questions along the way, folks, leave a comment, ask them in the comment section. We do reply within 1 business day. I also want to point out that it's really important that you take pictures of the disassembly before you remove those anti-tip wheels and the motor. In fact, I would recommend taking a picture pretty much for every step of the way, because if you don't put those anti-tip wheel brackets in the right way, you're going to get frustrated when you realize you didn't put it back together the right way. You're going to have to backtrack and do a lot of extra work. And by the way, there's a lot of hair around the axle. That's super common. It's really important that you take the time, maybe once a month, every few months, take the tires out, take the wheels out, and clean your axle. Spray it down, brush it down, spray it with some WD-40 so that you don't get that rust buildup. That's what's going to cause your scooter to make noise. And operational noise, while it's normal, it's not good. You know, you definitely don't want to hear those grinding sounds and rubbing sounds. It can be annoying. But yeah, that's just a general best practice tip. And we actually have a video on best practices and troubleshooting your mobility scooter as well. If you're interested in seeing that, I will put the link at the top right-hand corner of the screen. At this point, though, we've got the motor completely removed from the frame, and I've got the new motor lined up. You can see the new motor is definitely a little bit longer as far as like the actual motor itself. The axle's the same, and the hooking point where you can fish those 4 bolts and nuts through are the same. So you will be able to use this new motor. It's a perfect fit. It looks like it doesn't fit, but it does. So we'll walk you through here, just replacing those anti-tip wheel assemblies and putting that new motor in place. It's a pretty straightforward job. Honestly, it's just those 4 bolts and, you know, removing a couple of things, but not much to it, folks. So if you're handy, you've got the tools, this is an easy DIY job that you can do to save yourself the headache and the money and the time waiting for a technician to come to your home, or, you know, having to take a trip to a local tech or a shop to pay to have someone else do this for you. Of course, it's all just dependent upon how handy you are, what kind of tools you have, and what kind of experience you have. If you're not a technician, you know, I don't necessarily recommend trying this on your own. It could void your warranty. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and take our socket and screwdriver and now start to remove the power connection assembly on the motor side. So if you're not familiar with how these scooters come apart, there are some kind of terminal connectors that allow the scooter to come apart and still pass through the signal and the voltage. That power connector block, which I'm holding in my right hand that just came out, is held on with 2 screws and 2 nuts. So you'll want that little plastic L-shaped assembly on the new motor to be placed right back in place, just like the old motor's harness connection. So with the new motor, you're going to notice that, you know, it's identical. There's really no difference. It's just probably going to be shinier and newer and cleaner. So fish those screws through on the plastic L-shaped 90-degree angle plastic, and then just put the nuts on and tighten it back up. We've got some brand new axles here, brand new hardware. Everything's going to operate really well. New Woodruff key, no oxidation or rust on that axle whatsoever. It wouldn't be a bad idea to spray some WD-40 on there and clean off that inside of the wheel with a little brush, which we did behind the scenes. And we're just sliding on the wheel. You do have to have the Woodruff key in there. It's just going to make things a lot easier. So when you're putting that wheel on, just make sure that Woodruff key is lodged into the slot on the wheel assembly and on the axle itself. Then once you have the wheel on, put the washer on and then the nut on. Once I got that first wheel on, what I like to do is stand the motor up, and it does make it a little bit easier for you to put that second wheel in. Just line up that Woodruff key with the slot on the wheel assembly, get your socket out, and tighten up that nut. Now you will need to put some pressure on the wheel because the wheel tends to want to spin when you're tightening up those nuts and removing them. So you will need a little bit of hand strength to go ahead and tighten up those nuts tight enough to where, you know, they're not going to fall off when you're riding your scooter. There's a lot of vibration, a lot of wear and tear. You want to make sure those nuts are on tight. And right now I'm just testing things out to make sure everything connects because, you know, I just want to make sure before I go forward and do anything else. So I recommend doing that just in case. If that little power connector block is not in place correctly, you could run into trouble. And what we're doing now is moving forward with removing the floorboard, which you'll need to do to access the controller. So we're actually now at the point where we're going to remove the controller and replace it. There's just 2 screws. You'll need your Phillips head screwdriver to remove the floorboard. And lo and behold, it's really dirty near that controller, which is also not good. Remember, folks, best practice is to keep your equipment clean and free of debris. Getting all that dust and hair and cobwebs around the controllers is not good. It's not mission critical. It's not going to make your unit fail right away, but I don't recommend it. So to remove the controller, you're going to need either a really small wrench socket set, or just do what I did and get yourself a pair of pliers, adjustable pliers, or an adjustable wrench. Grab onto that nut behind the controller, take out the 2 Phillips head screws with your screwdriver, and then just begin to replace, remove, and reconnect all the connections back into the same exact position on the new controller. So there's really no wrong way to do it with the white connectors, but once you get to the last 4, which are positive and negative, you want to pay attention and make sure that they're going into the right place. You've got a positive and a negative for the motor, and a positive and a negative for the battery. You definitely want to make sure that those positive and negatives are plugged in the exact same way. Take pictures. There are some icons on the controller if you have trouble. Now what I'm doing, just as a favor to this customer, is I'm cleaning out their scooter a little bit. I don't want to give this scooter back with a bunch of debris and dirt around the controller that I just replaced. It goes against every moral that I have as a technician. So I vacuumed it out a little bit. They did not pay for the Super Plus car wash, so I just did a little vacuum. Don't make fun of me too much for my half-finished wash job there. I'm just replacing the controller now, putting the screws back in and securing the nuts on the back of the frame assembly there. Nothing to it. And we're pretty much at the finish line here, folks. I just need to put the floorboard back on with the 2 screws, and that's it. I'm just going to test it out, cross my fingers, and hope that it works. Otherwise, I'll feel like a failure. But seriously, one last thing. Make sure you zip tie your wire harnesses back in place the way they were. Hopefully you took pictures. You're going to want to make sure that those wire harnesses are nice and tight. Otherwise, you might have problem putting the scooter back together again and pinching wires. But here we go. Tested it out. Throttle works. We are done. If you want to watch any other videos about our products, repair tutorials, unboxing videos, entertainment videos, torture test videos, we've got them all. I'd really love it if you visit our YouTube channel with the link at the top right-hand corner of the screen. I'll take you to a playlist of some of our top-rated videos. We really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, everybody, have a great day.